Today we're going to talk about the 2023 Monaco race, where Fernando Alonso had the best chance of the year to take his first victory for Aston Martin and his third victory in Monaco. And not only because of his position at the start, in second place, at impressive 84 thousandths behind Verstappen, but also because of the choice of hard tires, betting on confusion, safety car, or even rain during the race. The Spaniard had in his hands the perfect strategy to grab first place. But just like in chess, where just one wrong move can dismantle your strategy, in a crucial moment of the race, Aston Martin made a rookie mistake, throwing away any Alonso's chance of winning. Watch until the end to remember this electrifying race, in which Aston Martin let its best chance of victory of 2023 slip through its fingers. The season was shaping up to have an imaginable outcome. Alternating between Checo Perez and Max Verstappen, Red Bull had taken first place in all 5 races that had taken place before Monaco. It was expected that Mercedes, Ferrari, and McLaren would compete for second place, but until that moment, we had the determined Fernando Alonso, placing Aston Martin in an impressive second position in the constructors' standings after 4 third places in the first 5 races. Alonso's first victory for Aston was shaping up. The Monaco race is one of the most difficult and exciting in Formula One. After all, the drivers know that the closer they are to the wall, the faster their lap will be. The circuit is narrow and sinuous, and overtaking is hard. Emotions tend to surface during free practice sessions due to the space available on the track, or rather, the lack of available space on the track. In the first free practice session of the weekend, the drivers acclimatized to the route. It's almost impossible not to have a crash in Monaco. Nico Hülkenberg was the one who inaugurated the wall, who smashed his left rear wheel, slightly damaging the wheel and puncturing the tire. To finish the first free practice, Albon did not do a great job at the exit of the first corner, hitting the wall on the entire left side of his Williams. Carlos Sainz took the lead in the first place. In the second free training, it was no different. 2 pilots crashed. Similar to Hülkenberg, Tsunoda scored in the same spot. Trying to repeat his good performance in FP1, Carlos Sainz went over the limit and ended up touching the wall and forcing everyone to stop with the red flag. Verstappen was the fastest one this time. In FP3, drivers like Verstappen, Russell, and Leclerc touched the wall. Hamilton wasn't as lucky and needed repairs, losing the rear of the car. Verstappen was again the fastest on the track. In qualifying, the one who inaugurated the wall was Sergio Perez. Right at the beginning, Checo hit the wall, bringing out the red flag. The challenges increased, as everyone knows how important the position is at the start of the race in Monaco. Ocon wanted to test the strength of the wall, luckily without having major damage to his Alpine. Lando Norris wasn't as lucky. He ended up taking too many risks. For the starting grid was Verstappen in first, followed closely by Fernando Alonso, Charles Leclerc, and Esteban Ocon. A sunny Sunday meant that all drivers went out on dry tires for a dry track. Concentration on the grid reigns before the start of the race. Leclerc was punished and lost 3 positions. Hamilton in 5th place. Carlos Sainz in 4th place. Ocon with an impressive 3rd place. Alonso in Verstappen's hunt for victory. The choice of tires can be crucial in a Formula One race, even more so in Monaco. This time, according to Pirelli, regardless of the initial choice of tires, only 1 stop was scheduled. A tough call. Start on soft or medium tires, gambling on an early pit stop. Or stick with the hard tires and wait for a late race gamble on a safety car or a rain situation. the strategists had a critical choice to make, and the pressure was on. The cards were on the table. After a clean start, with all drivers being extremely cautious, some contacts occurred during the first lap, with Hülkenberg making a daring overtake that ended up costing him a 5-second penalty. Lance Stroll tried to make room through the wall, but ended up suffering damage. Checo Perez, Nico Hülkenberg, and Guan Yu Zhou stopped to switch to hard tires on the first lap. The top positions did not change. From now on, it has started the game of concentration, resilience, and strategy. At lap 10, Verstappen on medium tires tried to impose the pace, but Alonso managed to stay 3 seconds behind, despite being on hard tires. 11 seconds behind, Ocon was bravely holding on to Sainz's Ferrari. In the exit of the tunnel, Sainz made a mistake and slid his front wing into Ocon's rear tire, leaving debris on the track and damaging his Ferrari's performance from now on. Meanwhile, the first two were opening up space, with Verstappen more than 5 seconds ahead of Alonso on the 15th lap. The Spanish driver was there on the lookout, knowing that it takes an average of 19 total seconds to stop in the pits, and he was already calculating the best moment for his pit stop. Bottas, Magnussen, Stroll, and Checo were taking advantage of the gaps trying to climb the race and championship rankings, but overtaking in Monaco is no easy task. Near lap 30, the weather was closing in, and the teams tried to predict if it would rain, and at what point in the race it would start to get wet. Once many drivers started on soft or medium tires, some of them had already made a stop, and others were on the imminence of stopping. The leaders began to catch traffic on the track, increasing the risk of slip-ups as the track temperature was dropping. The tires were reaching their limits, and now they had to face the difficulty of passing the slower drivers who were in direct competition for positions. The first of the front battalion to stop was Hamilton, exchanging medium for hard, in a bold bet not to encounter rain in the race. Would it be the best choice? Then came Ocon and Sainz, using the same strategy as Mercedes. They had no choice as tire wear was reaching the limit. It was lap 34, and the teams were under pressure. The tension increased. The rain was close. Now that they had already reached the second half of the race, none had stopped among the top 5 drivers, and Verstappen was the only one on medium tires, working magic to maintain first place. On lap 45 of 78, Leclerc stopped, removing hard tires and putting on medium ones, betting that the rain would not come. The next to stop was 5th place Pierre Gasly, following Hamilton and Leclerc's strategy and returning to the track also on hard tires. After opening almost 15 seconds on Alonso, Verstappen was now only 5 seconds in front of the Aston Martin, knowing that the moment he stopped, he would go back behind the Spaniard. Lap 52, and guess what? Yes, the rain began to fall. With 26 laps to go, the track started to get wet. If Monaco is already difficult in the dry, imagine in the wet with slick tires. Chaos reigned.
Okay, Esteban in.
Bottas and Stroll were the first to change to intermediate tires. Zhou, Albon, Sargent, Tsunoda also changed to intermediaries, and so everyone who entered the pits switched to intermediate tires. Lap 54, 24 to go. Verstappen goes straight to another lap, opening lap 55. He gives the chance to Alonso undercut him, and Aston Martin calls the Spanish driver to pit. The Spaniard's bet had worked. His teammate Stroll had already put on the intermediates. The team already knew what the best choice was. Putting on the intermediate tires, he would make a faster lap than Max, who was on medium tires with half of the track already completely under rain. Alonso is called to the pits. Checkmate time.
Box, box. So you can do run switch race, run switch race.
However, the decision made by the team was completely unexpected. They returned Alonso to the track with medium tires. Yes, you bet believe it.
Okay, so check people for Inter, something like that.
Yeah, man, we're watching.
The chance of Alonso's third victory at Monaco and his first victory with Aston Martin has just slipped through the team's fingers. On that lap, everyone who entered the pits changed to intermediaries. He was the only one who didn't.
Will be Inters, I think. Yeah, raining very heavy, 5. Inters, next lap.
Copy, mate, understood.
In other words, the advantage he would have had over Max no longer existed. The team wasted a stop. Among the top 10, besides Max and Fernando, only the 2 Ferraris had not yet placed intermediates, which ended up costing them some positions.
Box, Max, box.
Red Bull did not waste one more lap. Max to the pits, changing to intermediates. Alonso followed, returning 18 seconds behind Verstappen. That's right. If Aston Martin hadn't wasted a stop, Alonso would be in first place right now. The race reached its final laps, showing that Monaco in the rain is one of the biggest challenges in motorsport. Despite Alonso's hunger to catch Verstappen, taking away the Dutchman's gap lap after lap, we are talking about a dispute between 2 world champions in which just one slip could cost the first place, and Max knows that. Only a mistake by Max would allow the Spaniard any chance of victory, and it didn't happen. He slightly touched the wall, but it did not affect the car's performance. Another surprise was Ocon, who ran a surgical race and managed to maintain 3rd position, holding 7-time champion Hamilton in 4th. The track was drying up, and the positions didn't change anymore. But despite the disappointing result, Alonso still showed that he is a world-class driver. He's ready to come back and win races. Now we ask you, what would you do in a situation like this? Would you remain confident in your instincts as a driver and go against a team decision? Or would you execute orders believing that the team has a broader vision than yours, restricted within the cockpit? Do you think Alonso will win a race in Formula One again? And at last, but not least, which race would you like to see here with us? Follow us and leave your opinion in the comments. Thank you for revving up with us today, and until our rubber meets the asphalt once more, may your ride on be smooth and secure.